I'll tell you guys right now, this video, there's gonna be a lot of spoilers. So if you don't wish to continue, that's fine, but let's get right into it. Okay, so today I'm gonna talk about some of my most overrated characters, anime characters with the least amount of screen time. So right from the get-go, the number one character to me, I mean, I wouldn't call him overrated because I understand he's very essential to the plot, but at the same time, he has a very small amount of screen time. And that is Shisui Uchiha. Shisui. Oh my god. If you don't follow Naruto, you would think Shisui is like, you would think he appears a lot in the show, but not really. Like Shisui really, I think maybe only like Itachi's backstory, that's the only time you really see him. But like Shisui's cold, don't get it confused. Like according to like the show, the way they hype him up, like he's like probably the best genjutsu user. I mean, some people may argue Itachi, but according to the show, his genjutsu is like the best, basically, right? But there are other like crazy genjutsu users on the show, basically, right? But nah, Shisui is cold as a character, right? And he's very essential to some of the other characters come up. Itachi is probably number one when it comes to that, right? But it's just that the way Shisui's fan base is, oh my god, you would think this dude is some god of shinobi. Like, oh my goodness, bro. Like I see like so many memes online of you know, or you see conventions where people are all dressed up like Shisui and everything like that. Now Shisui is cold, but the way they hype him up, the way Naruto fans hype him up, oh my goodness lord, oh my god. And I understand why the writers did it that way, because Shisui's mystery actually helps the characters that you see on screen, right? Like Itachi, for an example. The reason why Itachi got his Mangekyo Sharingan is because of Shisui. Like Shisui had to, I mean, spoilers, Shisui had to die for Itachi to get his Mangekyo Sharingan. Could Itachi have gotten his Mangekyo Sharingan, you know, maybe later? It's possible, but what I'm saying is at the time he got it, Shisui had to die. So, which makes sense, right? If Shisui doesn't die, a lot of the plot of Naruto would have gone differently. Uchiha massacre wouldn't have happened if Shisui survived, right? You know, he was gonna use his, you know, genjutsu to basically make the elders of the village, the Hidden Leaf village, think that, you know, everything was good and something like that. So the war wouldn't have happened, right? The Uchihas wouldn't have gotten massacred for sure. You know, Itachi wouldn't have gotten his Mangekyo Sharingan at that time. And so a lot would have changed if Shisui doesn't die. And if you follow the plot of Naruto, Shisui at the time when he was alive, you could probably argue that he was the like strongest Uchiha. I mean, I would still think maybe Fugaku could have been stronger, but we don't know for sure. I mean, technically Madara was still alive, I think so, at that time. So he's there, but he was hidden, so he doesn't really count. So yeah, so Shisui, you know, could have been the strongest Uchiha at that time. So a lot wouldn't have happened if he doesn't die. And I hated the way the anime killed him. Like, I mean, it wasn't too bad because he had technically defeated bitch ass Danzo, but the anime made it seem like Danzo used Izanagi to, you know, redo reality and, you know, ends up beating, at least stealing his eye, stealing Shisui's eye and whatever. But it's what it is. Shisui's still a legend though, still a legend. It's just that, I don't know, man, the way they overrate him to the point where you're gonna think he had so many screen time, you know, in the actual Naruto series, but he really doesn't. Another character to me, I felt like he was overrated in the sense of like, so I think the way I'm wording this video may make it seem like I'm saying these characters are not strong. No, they're really strong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the way that if you don't watch the show, the way they overhype these characters, you would think that this character like appear so many times in the show, right? They're really popular for not being on screen that many times. One will be Demon Slayer, what's his name? Yoriichi or something like Yoriichi. That's basically the Hashira that almost killed Muzan like back in the days. So when you watch Demon Slayer, right, there's little flashbacks of him, you see his image, or, you know, like I think they had this training robot that was kind of like built in his image and whatever. So Yoriichi, like, I'm not sure, any Demon Slayer fan, maybe you guys can answer this question for me. Like, is Yoriichi like an ancestor to Tanjiro? Because they kind of look alike, and I'm guessing Yoriichi uses some breathing technique also. Like, I'm not sure, but it seemed like it. But there's a resemblance there, you know, maybe because I'm seeing the Demon Slayer mark that Tanjiro has, and Yoriichi kind of have it in the same spot. spot. So there's this similarity. I don't know if that's his ancestor or something like that, right? But you're a legend if you almost killed Muzan. And to me, wild to me is I was reading somewhere and they said that it was a one-on-one fight, like him and Muzan, like he almost beat Muzan one-on-one. That's insane. Like, because think about it. Like, to me, I think all the Hashiras, they will have to combine all their might, all their power to defeat Muzan. And to me, if you're saying one Hashira could almost kill Muzan, man, I mean, that's crazy. That's wild. Like, this Yoriichi must have been a legend. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, his related to, like, is it the second upper moon or the first upper moon? Like, the one that has, like, 6 eyes or something like that. But yeah, bro, like, he's one of those characters where there's so much hype around him. But, I mean, technically, I haven't really seen an episode dedicated to his backstory. I'm hoping they do something like that in the, is it Infinity Castle arc? So that would be dope if they do something like that. Another character that I think is really, okay, I wouldn't call him overrated, but what it is before I watched this anime, I thought that they were gonna have him like in half of the episodes, right? That character to me is Toji in Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, bro, before I watched Jujutsu Kaisen, I saw so many memes about this Toji character. Like, I would see fan conventions where people are dressing up like Toji, like people are like, damn, Toji's like this and that, like this dude is hella strong, da 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 da. So in my mind, I'm like, damn, this Toji character must be cold as fuck. So I finally watched Jujutsu Kaisen, right? I watched the whole first season. I did not see any episode this character was in. Like, he was not even in any clip, any scene in the first season. I did not see this character. I'm like, okay, maybe he's like probably the main villain for like the second season. So I think it was like maybe episode 2 of the second season. I know he appeared in the first 3 episodes or something weird, something like that. And I mean, when he first appeared, I was hyped up because I'm like, oh, finally, this is the character that I always see, on the memes and whatever, right? So, I'm expecting this dude to just be cold right from the get-go, but I'm not gonna lie to you. The first time you see him in action, I think the fight between him and Gojo, I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely worth the hype. This Toji character is cold. Oh my god. Like, I want you to understand, he almost killed Gojo. To be honest with you, I feel like the only reason Gojo survived that fight was because of plot armor. No, seriously, this dude was insanely strong, and why I like him is because he doesn't have like he doesn't use curse energy. All right, so the dude is just strong based off of physical strength. At least that's the way they explained it. Like, he doesn't use a lot of curse energy, even though I do see him use some type of, I don't know, it seemed like he's using some type of curse thing, but like the little thing that he puts his weapon in. But like, that character is hella strong. It was insane. So he definitely was worth the hype. And what's even better is when they brought him back later in the season, like, spoilers, he's already dead, but they brought him back. Bro, like, my favorite fights in the entire Jujutsu Kaisen, whenever Toji was fighting the crab curse or whatever, like in the beach, whatever, in his domain, oh my goodness, Toji destroyed that crab curse or whatever, like destroyed it. And like, to me personally, right, I feel like I may be wrong. If Toji had to fight the like volcano head curse, I'll put my money on Toji. I think Toji can beat the volcano head curse. Don't get me wrong, that curse is very strong, but I put my money on Toji winning that battle, bro. I feel like for Toji to almost kill Gojo, I understand Gojo got stronger, after that fight, but like, Toji is definitely worth it though. Like, the hype around him, and when he first appears, he does a great job. It reminds me of like Madara in Naruto, right? Because when you watch Naruto all the way to like maybe Pain arc, you would think the way they hyped up Madara, right? Madara Uchiha. Oh my god, they're like, oh, he did this, he did that, he was this, that. And you know how cold Itachi is, how cold like Sasuke is. Like, oh damn, like, so this dude was one of the main original Sharingan users, right? So there's so much hype around him. So at least when I watched Naruto, the first time I saw Madara, spoilers, the Madara you first see on, like, at least when he starts being a regular, that's not really the real Madara, right? That's Obito Uchiha. But to me, that was already cold. Like, the episode that they revealed that Tobi is really the mastermind behind Akatsuki, right? That's when I'm like, damn, this Madara character is cold. And it was crazy. That's not even the real Madara, but the hype, like the masked guys, the Obito, which is is probably my favorite character of Naruto. Like, it was already cold. Then the real Madara appears later in the war arc. Oh my god. Like, when he's fighting the Shinobi Alliance. Now, Madara that's one of my favorite characters in Naruto. Like, ridiculous aura. Nah, Madara Uchiha. Speaking of like ridiculous aura, right, in Naruto, like as I said, they always hyped up most of the Kages, right? Like Hokages, first Hokage, they hyped them up from the very get-go. Second Hokage too, and you do see a glimpse of them early on in Naruto, right? Like whenever Orochimaru resurrected and reanimated them. That fight was crazy, but that does not tell, like, how can I put it? That's nowhere close to their real strength. Like later in the war arc, when you start seeing how strong Hashirama is, that's his clones, right? How strong the clones are. You're like, damn, Hashirama is a different level. And even fourth Hokage, which is Naruto's dad, which they was hyped up, from the very get-go, right? So that's why to me, whenever people say like they don't like the war arc, I'm like, the war arc was pretty good because it was like a closure. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like a lot of these characters that appeared in the war arc, they've hyped them up before the war arc. So the war arc is basically them just, giving you a glimpse of, oh, this is how that character was when they were still alive, because a lot of those Kages were reanimated, right? And don't get me wrong, some of the other Kages from the other villages, whenever they showed them, give them their little screen time, they will hype them up. Hey, whenever he was alive, he did that and that and that and that. And my point is, you're not gonna go too deep into their backstories like that because they're not that essential to the main plot. That's why. But for most parts, the screen time they had, I felt most of them delivered. And that's why it kind of hurts that they never reanimated Shisui back, but there's a reason for it, right? Because they couldn't find his body. He died, he jumped into the water or whatever, the river, so that's why they couldn't reanimate him back. Same thing with Jiraiya, and Kona. If you think about it, all three of them, I guess if you die like in a big body of water, they can't resurrect you. I guess that's how it is, because even like Kisame too, they couldn't resurrect him too. I think that's what that was, right? No, Kisame didn't die in the water, right? Because he got reanimated. I can't remember, but yeah, another character that I think is somewhat overrated in terms of popularity and least amount of screen time will probably be Broly from Dragon Ball Z. I know there are people that are gonna be, oh, Broly's the GOAT, da 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 da. I'm not saying he's not. What I'm saying is Broly's screen time is very questionable to how popular he is. I mean, Broly, when you think of it, right, Broly doesn't really appear in any of the Dragon Ball episodes. It's really more of the movies. Like, if you don't watch Dragon Ball Z, right, just based off the popularity of Broly online as a villain, like, I wouldn't even call Broly a true villain, because that's what I'm saying. Like, when you think about Frieza, Cell, Buu, they have seasons and arcs dedicated to them. Broly has none of that. Broly just appears in the movie as a villain, really, that rivals the main characters, right? But he's not, like, Goku Black actually has more appearances than Broly does. Yeah, like, when you think of it. But like, Broly's popularity is insane to how much screen time he really has. Don't get me wrong, the movies, yes, he appears in the movie. And let's be honest, I'm not sure all those movies are canon. I'm sure the last one they did about Broly, like the Super, I think that's canon. But yeah, Broly doesn't appear as much in Dragon Ball Z as they make it sound, but like, he definitely is worth the hype in terms of strength. Nah, man, like, to me, Goku's probably the strongest in terms of like not the angels and gods, like Godzino, whatever his name is. Those ones, we don't know their true strength. But as far as like the Saiyans and just the characters that fight, Broly, you can argue, is probably top 2. Broly, maybe Goku's stronger, but like, I think Broly's potential might be higher than Goku. Like, Broly's ceiling might be higher. Like, now Broly's cold, like, for sure. It's just that, as I said, like, he's more popular than than what his screen time is. And to me, I don't have a problem with anime writers. They do this, they hype up characters even in the actual universe of the anime, and they don't give them enough screen time. But it's done on purpose because it helps with the aura, right? The mystery. Okay, if you hear a lot about this character but you don't see this character, like, your imagination hypes up the character to how strong they could be, right? And it also helps the characters that do appear in the anime, like the characters characters that have most of the screen time, it helps their like kind of their motivation, right? As I told you, like Itachi is with, if Shisui doesn't exist, like Itachi's aura I don't think will be as dope as it was. Like Shisui being there is essential. You know, it's the same way for Sasuke. Itachi being his older brother, he gives Sasuke motivation to, you know, to be strong. So they're needed, you know. Same thing with kind of like, you know, Toji and JJK. His dad being, I don't think he knows that's his dad, right? At least in the anime. I don't read the mangas, so I don't think he knows that's his dad yet. But I don't know how to put it. It's like they give the characters that you see on screen extra motivation and, you know, just extra aura and extra hype around them. But yeah, definitely I'd like to know more characters that don't appear as much on screen, but I guess they're so popular because they're essential to the plot, you know. I'm still watching Hunter x Hunter, and there's some characters I'm seeing, they haven't given them enough screen time, at least, you know, in my opinion. But like I'm curious to, you know, more of their story. Like for an example, Killua's family, like his dad and his granddad, like they seem like they're gonna be problems, but so far they haven't really said much about them. You only see them a little bit, but I feel like I'm hoping definitely in further seasons they'll explore more. So the episode I just watched, I just found that Hisoka is part of a group, right? The group that killed Copernicus family, Spider, what do they call them? Is it Phantom Troop? Something like that. So I'm hoping that as I keep watching, they're gonna explore more, because they look like, because Hisoka, that character is just a mystery to me. He's like hella strong, weird as hell, very sus, but, and from what the episode I watched, it doesn't seem like he's the strongest in his group. So, you know, I'm getting that kind of a Akatsuki type vibe, like a group of overpowered villains. So definitely looking forward to it though. But yeah, I'm gonna catch you guys later. Make sure you subscribe, and but yeah.